everyone, and welcome to Hearts of Iron in 2024. I've been playing this game since 2018, so you might say I have a couple of hours in this game. I've done a couple of the achievements, so yeah, so I kind of know some things about the game. Not everything. I don't know how the Navy works, but I mean, who does? Now, the reason why I'm making this video, this tutorial, is because this game is notoriously complicated. Super complicated, however, it can be super rewarding, especially if you have a love for World War II history like I do. So, come and join me on this journey. I'm going to be making this as a series. Topic for this first video, general overview. Next video, we'll be getting more into the Army and how that works. So there's two different ways you can play the game, single player or multiplayer. I recommend you just start out playing single player to learn the game, because multiplayer can be a little bit, it can be a lot. It's not just a nice clean experience like, say, Call of Duty would be. So I recommend you play single player. There's a lot of achievements you can get, it can be really fun and engaging. Now, there's two different scenarios you can do in single player, and that's going to be 1936. In the interwar period, you get a little start there, or 1939. I recommend you play 1936, because then that can give you some time to sort of grow and learn and just spread out a little bit before the world burns up into fiery inferno. Alrighty, let's get into the state of the game. What you see up here are all the countries that the developers of this game have created national focuses for, or focus trees for. And I'll get into more about that later. On the top row right here, we have all the major countries. Now, the majors are going to have more research slots, more factories to produce with, and more territory and more armies, more manpower. They have more push. While these are all the smaller countries, they can kind of get pushed around if you don't provide extra attention to what you're doing and being a little bit more of an expert. What I recommend is that you play as Germany to start out with. The game has a tutorial that you can play where you play as Italy. However, if you're trying to learn the game without being in the tutorial, Italy starts out at war, which can be a little bit overwhelming when you're trying to just learn the basics. So I recommend you play as Germany. They're a little bit more fun. Or as the United States, because the United States doesn't get into war until mid-1941. Currently, it's not historical, but Japan will declare war on the United States probably about summer of 1941. So we're going to choose Germany. After you choose Germany, it's going to take you to this tab. You can switch up what you want to play as if you want to. So we're going to stick with Germany. Change the difficulty here. You're always going to want to play on regular, though. If you play on easy difficulty, I'm sorry, but you got to get better, and it's also just not fun. Well, veteran or elite, I don't know what you're doing. That's crazy. You can only get achievements on regular difficulty and on Iron Man mode with this tab selected. What is Iron Man mode? It just means that if you play the game, you can't go back to an older save if something bad happens. You have to keep playing. So you can go several hours into a run to get an achievement, and if something happens that messes up that achievement, you have to start all the way over. So, I typically always play on Iron Man mode though, because I'm trying to get those achievements. And then lastly, we have the historical AI focus. So, if you check this tab, this will keep the AI on a path of what they did during World War II. So, the Civil War will happen in Spain, Germany will declare war on Poland, then France, and then World War II will happen. So, check that tab if you want a little bit more predictability, because if you don't check it, the AI just goes crazy. Different people will declare war on each other, different civil wars will happen. It's all non-historical at that point. As you can see right here, this button just shows that, oh yeah, you can get achievements during this game. Alrighty, and this is Hearts of Iron. This is the game. These are all your armies spread out right here. You can select them all and just put them into a different little tab right here. So you can see right when you get into this game, it already overwhelms you with all the different things, bells and whistles that you have to interact with. you can see right here, this is our country. This is Germany right here. If you click on your flag, left click, it pulls up your leader, all the advisors that you can get, and this thing right here. Select a national focus. This is going to be the first thing you're going to want to do when you get into a game. This is the national focus tree. So when you're buying DLCs, this is what you can buy. Now, I don't recommend that you buy any of the DLCs right now. I would wait until a sale is happening on the Steam store. Something like the summer Steam sale, Paradox has a sale every single year, or the winter Steam sale. So that way the DLCs are a little bit cheaper. Paradox likes to make their money off of it. It's honestly not enough content to buy full price, in my opinion. Each national focus tree, though it looks overwhelming, is divided up into essentially 3 columns. You have economic over here. You can see we have the 4-year plan, integrate the war economies, German war economy. Then you have the military column right here. These are going to be like different upgrades that you can provide to your military. And then lastly, we have political things, changing your government, doing different things across the Hearts of Ironland. Now, historically, as you can see right here, we're going to remilitarize the Rhineland. What that does is it gives France a decision like, hey, we're going to remilitarize the Rhineland. If you don't let this happen, like, we're going to do it, and you can declare war on us if you want. And 95% of the time, they don't declare war on you. So you're good to select this. Each national focus is going to be 70 days or 35 days based on how much it provides you. Each national focus will always give you something in return, whether it be political power, whether it be something happening. It's always something. Now, if you don't do a national focus, what happens is you get double the political power up here. Political power is the currency of the game. There's no dollars, there's no Deutschmarks. However, if you don't research a national focus, you don't progress as a country. So you basically get left behind. It's not your research. Research is something else different. But national focuses basically are what make this game exciting, other than warfare. Next thing we're going to get into is research. Research is the next thing you're going to want to select. As a major, you can have 3 or 4 research slots. I think Japan and Italy get only 3, and Russia, they get 3 research slots, while Germany, UK, France might also get 3. Germany, UK, United States, they all get 4, have easy access to getting 5 research slots. What you're going to want to research first is military here. Then you're going to want research industry. And then this electronics tab here. This helps to increase your research speed. Now, if you want to learn more about different buttons and tabs, just hover over that thing and it'll tell you more about it. Each thing takes a specific amount of time to research. If you have any experience with these types of games, it's a pretty simple concept to grasp. If you want to, say, research nuclear power early, you can see these dates are the recommended dates that you research that. If you try and research it early, you can see that there is a ahead of time negative stat that's applied. So it's going to take way longer time to research that as opposed if you were to wait until 1940. So recommend that you wait till the right time to research things. You can research it like maybe 1 or 2 months before 1940, but not like 2 or 3 years or a whole year. I'm not going to get into the specific things that you can research in this tutorial. This is just the general overview. Alrighty, next thing I want to hit is the trade. When you don't have enough resources to produce what you're making, this button will pop up, insufficient resources. Now, if you click that, it pulls up this tab right here, the trade tab. Typically, you're going to want to trade with countries you're not planning on going to war with. So Dutch East Indies and British Malaysia, I'm going to be going to war with those countries. So if I trade with them, it benefits them. So I don't want to benefit them. I'm going to trade with Siam because I'm probably never going to go to war with Siam. Now, what are you trading with? You're not trading with political power. You're trading with your civilian factory production. So you lose one civilian factory production, and they gain one. I'll get more into that in the construction tab. But for now, we're going to trade away 8 of our rubber to get what we need. Next thing I'm going to hit is the construction tab, actually. We're just going to want to construct our military factories. Now, the game says that you can build this or this or this or this. Civilian factories are what you build with. Military factories are what you produce with, like your equipment, your rifles, your tanks, your airplanes. They all are made with military factories. Boats are made with naval dockyards. So if you're trying to build a giant navy, such as trying to compete with the United Kingdom, then you would build more naval dockyards to increase your production. Now, as a major and mostly other countries, you have enough civilian factories right here to build a crap ton of military factories, start pumping them out. So you're always going to want to be building something, and I recommend that you're mostly always building military factories. You have other things that you can build, such as anti-air, air bases. Those are more situation dependent, based on if you plan on needing them. Generally, though, you're going to need military factories. Next is the production tab. Now, when you look at this, it might overwhelm you, just like most of this game. However, I'll try and break it down for you and make it super simple. The 3 major items that you should be producing: infantry equipment, support equipment, and then towed artillery. Infantry equipment is the basic blood for all of your infantry divisions. Here it shows how much that you have stockpiled, and if there's a deficit, it'll show that here with this red plus sign saying that, hey, you're missing 220 airplanes to have full air wings. It's pretty bad if you start to go negative for infantry equipment. This part right here is how many military factories you have devoted to that production. So as you can see, I have starting out 10 military factories devoted to that. I can increase it or decrease it just with left clicking. What I recommend is that you devote at least 10 to infantry equipment at the start, 5 right here, another 5 on artillery, so that way you can really build up your firepower. The grayed out military factories right here are just saying that you don't have enough military factories, but the minute you build some new ones, they'll immediately get devoted based on what you have in priority. So since towed artillery is second, military factories will go here first once they're built. As you scroll down, you can see Navy is a little bit different. It's a little naval dockyard picture looking thing. All of these start out being built for Germany midway through their production. You can see right here, they're going to be done by 1936 or 39 or 42. While it's different for the military factory stuff, which is more produced per day or per month type of thing. Next, we have the recruit and deployment tab. This is where you build your army. This is your basic training area. You're always going to want to be training some type of troops, typically based on how much equipment you have. So this is your normal infantry division. Hit train, and it sends it right here. This is the queue for training different things. Now you can add how many you're training at a single time, so that way they're all being trained concurrently. However, you can see my supply when it comes to equipment is pretty low. So not a ton of these guys will be able to be produced. So as you build more equipment, it'll be easier to produce more guys. This is how much equipment is being devoted to that unit that's being trained, and then this is their amount of training. The 3-leaf clovers is to show that, hey, these guys are fresh. They're not fully trained. You can set right here how many you want to train in this queue. If you want to just have it produce until infinity, keep producing guys as they come off the factory line, or have it set to 1, so that way once it's complete, the queue gets closed out. Typically I have it set to 1. Next we have, don't need to worry about this tab, never look at it. We have the officer corps. Worry about this stuff once you have more either Army experience, Navy experience, or Air experience. How you get Army, Navy, or air experience is either you train your troops with this tab right here. That was the old way of doing it. The new way is if you just hire a chief of army. So you can see right here the bonus is that they get more division organization, but mainly it's 0.3 army experience daily. So super easy to get army experience. And then, of course, naturally, once you get into a war, you'll accumulate that experience as your units get into contact, based on how much contact they get into. Up here, these buttons will show up based on your needs. So this will pull up the Decisions tab. Decisions tab is the other place where you can spend your political power. The first place being here in the Laws and Government, where you can hire political advisors that provide different bonuses, like they can increase communist support in your government, or they can create more fascist support in your government. Or you can hire different military advisors that provide different bonuses. So you can see Kutch students can provide airborne assaults. These are all historically accurate people that actually existed during World War II. So it's kind of cool. Other stuff up here to be concerned with: stability and war support. These two things go hand in hand. Each country has a different amount of stability and war support. So you can see for France, they have 49% stability, 10% war support. When you're fighting a war, you're going to want to have as much stability and war support as possible. If your stability drops to a certain point, your populace is eventually going to go on strike, which will hurt your economy. And if it hits 0, your country could go into civil war. With war support, higher war support provides more bonuses. So you can see like the effects from the current amount of war support we have, which is beneath 50%, is that our mobilization speed is less and our command power gain is less as well. However, if you increase your war support, it enables you to get higher conscription levels, which means more manpower. You need manpower to fight your wars. Over 1 million manpower is pretty safe if you're trying to fight Soviet Russia. Actually, it's not safe. You need probably at least 2 million manpower to fight Russia. Under 500,000, that's when you get into a little bit more sketchier territory. If you get into more and more of an attritional fight, you can run completely out of manpower, and once that happens, you can easily get steamrolled. This tab right here just shows how many total factories you have, split up into military, naval, and civilian dockyards. This one shows how much fuel you have in your storage. That's more relevant if you're focusing on naval operations. This next tab is your logistical fulfillment. So when you're fighting a major war, this tab will go up and down based off of how many supplies are actually reaching your troops. It's kind of good for seeing that. And then lastly, these are how many convoys you have and how good they are at actually reaching their destination. During a war, you really need convoys to deliver supplies to your troops that are overseas, as well as resources. So if someone's attacking your convoys and stuff like that, they can really hurt your ability to produce things with the resources that you're trying to get. Next thing I'm going to hit is going to be the right side, this right corner up here, as well as this bottom right corner down here. In the top right, this controls the time. It can go up to 5 speeds or 1 speed. And time progresses hour by hour. So as you can see right here, once I go up to 5 speed, boom, things are happening, things are moving around, people start moving. So if I tell my guys, hey, move over here, boom. Time progresses based on me pausing and unpausing. You can also do that with the spacebar. Next right here, this giant globe thing is just an indicator of world tension. So as we get closer and closer to World War II, wars are happening, people are taking different actions like annexing the Sudetenland and things of that nature. It increases world tension. What that means is other countries will be more liable to join a faction based on how high world tension is, or guarantee the independence of other countries. If you're trying to be aggressive, you want world tension to be low before 1940. So that way, less people join factions, less people messing up your game. Up here, these are just your overall Army, Navy, and Air Force tabs. Much better if you are a huge power like United Kingdom or France, and your stuff is super spread out. You can see where different things are at, how much of that thing that you have. So you can see I have 2 battleships, 2 heavy cruisers, and all that jazz. You can also control music up here. Pause, play, stop, whatever. All right. What we're going to end the video with is here in the bottom right, this tab right here. This is the strategic Navy view. This is just the default view, what we start out with. And we can see the Navy view right here, which shows all the different naval sectors, as well as how you can control your Navy, things of that nature, make them do things. Well, if you go back, boom, can't see that anymore. Next is the air mode, same deal. If you're trying to do stuff here with your Air Force, you're going to want to go to the Air Force tab. The operations map mode is only for this tab right here that I haven't mentioned, the intelligence agency, and that is only going to be available if you buy the La Resistance DLC. Next are different viewers, different map modes that you can look at. Supply map mode, super useful for determining where your supply is inefficient. Blue and purple, that means super efficient means of supply. And white. I think white is the highest. Blue, you're starting to become a little bit inefficient. And then red means not efficient at all. Next, we have the terrain map mode. That's just good for seeing the different types of terrain. You can already see the terrain if you're looking at the map. So I don't know. I've never really used that tab much. Resistance map mode is if you're occupying another country. Resistance will slowly build or tick up over time if you don't have some type of military police managing that to build compliance, which is the next tab. So it's good to have low resistance in an occupied country and high compliance. Why? Because it means, they're not going to try and sabotage your industry. And then 2, more likely that they'll join and be part of your manpower count. So higher compliance means higher non-core manpower. This is the resources tab. It shows where all the resources are located on the map. So if you control that region, you can control those resources. So you can see here in Europe, tons of steel and aluminum. While we over to British Malaysia, or the Dutch East Indies, this is where all the world's rubber is stored. 500 rubber, all over the place. And then there's also some rubber and stuff in Brazil as well as in Africa. So you can see as Germany, you're starting out in a deficit in terms of resource control. Next, we have the infrastructure map mode. Not super useful unless you're trying to really focus on building up your country. And then the factions map mode, which becomes more useful once World War II begins and you're trying to see who's part of what country. Or if you're playing on non-historical, very useful for that, as a ton of different factions will get started. There's a couple different tabs right here. This tab right here just toggles day and night. As you can see, ooh, it's night. Ooh, wow, pretty. However, it can be super distracting if you're playing on 5 speed. So you can see it goes day, night, day, night. So typically I just keep that off. This button right here will enable you to see the battle plans of your allies. That is it for the general basic overview of Hearts of Iron. Here, let me switch it to the default map mode real quick. As I said before at the beginning of this video, I'll dig a little bit deeper into how to actually use your army, how to conduct warfare in this game. But for now, I'm going to end the video there. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. This is the first in a series of many videos that I will probably be making about the game Hearts of Iron. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Sir, want an apple?
Yeah, thanks.